Do you know that everybody is an addict? And did you also know that everybody has more than one addiction? So the process which ends up being addiction is a very, very natural human process by which the system, everybody finds something good, and then the mind repeats it to them that no, you should do this again. And if they find something bad, then the mind repeats it to them and they say don't do it again. So everybody at some point or another will abuse this process. And when this process is abused, that's when it's called an addiction. But then not everybody reaches like rock bottom levels whereby they start missing work, missing school, and things like that. But then few people have had the privilege of reaching those levels and survive, because a lot of people die when they reach those levels. In fact, most people die. Yeah. So the fact is, when people are going through a rehabilitation process, um, it's not a question of only dealing with one addiction. It's always a question of dealing with all the addictions, starting with the big one first, the one which caused a person to go deep, into the addiction. And for me, it was alcohol. Alcohol was the addiction which I just, would take me deep, deep. I would miss work. I would ignore my family and things like that. So everybody's got a different first big addiction, and then there are other smaller addictions which need to be dealt with. But then if that big addiction is stopped, then the other addictions can come up and become the big one. So the root cause of the addiction is what needs to be addressed. Is it a trauma? Is it it's definitely a trauma, one form of trauma or another. What is a trauma? It's just a very, very acute negative reaction to some event in life, which sometimes sticks with a person for the rest of their life, so dealing with that, therapy does that, 12 stepping work does that, psychiatry helps with that as well. All these things are very, very helpful for this. So in my programs out of addiction, like at Restart, we look at all the addictions, to make sure a person, even after stopping and they're detoxing, what the psychiatrists do is actually when they're detoxing a person is put them on another, drug, which can be addictive also, but then the effect will be better than the other addiction. So for a short while, and then take them off, and then the person now, has no big addiction with them. So we look at all the addictions. We have experience. We know how to profile a person with a certain addiction, and then we start dealing with those things to help them to stay okay, to stay alive. Addiction is about staying alive. Sorry, I meant to say addiction is about healing, and then recovery is about staying alive.